A very good morning, all of you. So today's live session, the focus is how many MCQs should we practice on day-to-day basis in order to crack entrance? One of the most common questions which we do commonly have during our preparation phase. So how many MCQs do you think you should practice on day-to-day basis? I mean, how many do you think personally now? You can post them in the comments. So is it 5 MCQs per day, 10 MCQs per day, 50 MCQs per day, 100 MCQs per day, 200 MCQs per day, 500 MCQs per day, 1000 MCQs per day, and I'm sure I can go on. So, how many MCQs do you think, in your opinion, should you practice every day in order to crack entrance? Because often we hear our seniors telling or others telling us to practice some number of particular number of MCQs on day-to-day basis, like practice a minimum of 200 to 300 MCQs every day. That was the suggestion which was given to me during my preparation by my seniors. And you might have come across many such suggestions like practice 500 MCQs per day, just practice 1000 MCQs per day. I don't know how it's possible, but I know there are people who make such things possible. Good for them. So, how many MCQs do you think we should practice or you should practice during your preparation phase to crack entrance? 50 MCQs per day, 50 to 100, 500 to 700. It's a very odd number, but I'm glad you gave the number. So, minimum of 50. Okay. So some of you say it's 10 MCQs per day. Some of you might say it's 50. Some of you might say it's 100, 500, 1000. In fact, we even got a range 500 to 700, 1000, more than 1000, and so on. We can go on and on. But let me give you an absolute number. But before I give you the number, do observe the following. So that's the answer. That's the answer. So we have an island called Seychelles along the eastern coast of Africa. It's an island country previously ruled by British. It was a British colony. And near to that island, Seychelles, we have another small island which can be traveled by a ferry or boat within 1 hour. That is Pralin. So the name of the island is Pralin. S is silent. Okay, Pralin. So in Pralin, it's also an island. So we have wonderful beaches there. And we have one huge tree, as you can see, along the coast, along the beach. And beneath or under the tree, you'll find a glass jar with a cork seal to it. And in that glass jar, you can find a piece of paper where you'll have an answer to this question. Seriously. Seriously. So you'll find an answer over there. You can check out for yourself. So I hope you got my point. There is no standardized answer, and there is no standard format that you should practice a set number of multiple choice questions every day. Because of our experience, we create perceptions and opinions and then we tend to share them. There is nothing wrong in it. But if you want an absolute answer, I gave you the place. If you want, I'll share the geographical GPS coordinates as well. You'll find an absolute answer. So in the glass jar, on a piece of paper which I placed it when I was there last year, securely beneath the tree. Of course, it's floating in water, so it must be somewhere in Indian Ocean by now. So we can find an absolute answer. Hope you got my point. We were told that we should practice 10 MCQs per day, or 50 MCQs per day, or 100 MCQs per day, and so on. But that's not the point. Let me ask you one direct question. Only one question. Why do you think we have this entrance? To test your ability to remember key to various MCQs, or to test your ability or your understanding of concepts and subject? Why do you think we have this entrance? Why do you think we have this filtering process? Is it to simply test your memory based on the key you remember for thousands of multiple choice questions that you're going to practice? Or is it to analyze your understanding of concepts or clinical scenarios? So, why do you think we have this entrance? That itself should give the answer. We are here not to memorize multiple choice questions, take my word. We are here not to memorize key to a particular MCQ, but often that happens because we give that unnecessary and heavy importance, unfortunately. But that's never the objective of any competitive exam. I mean, if I were conducting an exam, my objective is not to test your ability to remember key to a particular question, which is already there in guide. That would be cheating. Rather, my intention would be to, test your understanding, test your concepts, isn't it? Don't you think that's the objective of entrance? So if you get that particular point, you will be least bothered about these numbers. I mean, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't practice MCQs. Please don't get me wrong. What I'm trying to say here is there is no standardized answer. It has to be customized, which we'll discuss now. That's the core topic for today's discussion. But if you want an absolute answer, this is where you can find it. Okay, now let's move on to the specific topic. Yes, let's move on to the specific topic. So like, how should you practice MCQs? For suppose you're practicing 10 MCQs. By the way, the bottle seems to be huge than tree. So I'm very bad artist. So please excuse me for that. So for suppose, let's assume you're practicing 10 MCQs. Let's suppose, okay, 10 MCQs per day. So when you're practicing 10 MCQs, make sure that you're not going through key or explanations, if any, simultaneously. Rather, in my opinion, it's better to consider that as a test, and without checking the key and explanations, try solving those 10 or 15 or group of MCQs based on your time availability and convenience. So let's suppose 10 MCQs, take a piece of paper and then note down key, like first question, key A, in your opinion. Second question, third question, fourth question, fifth question, and so on. So before you refer key and explanations, try solving it by analyzing self in a piece of paper, just noting down the key, right? I hope you got my point. And once you're done with this, now the second phase, which I would say is, which I practice personally, is obviously how to cross check key and explanations, if any. So, because that's how you'll know how far you have or how better you have done in that particular exam, isn't it? So, after you analyze key and explanation, this is what we routinely do. But here is something which is very crucial, that is reference. I mean, once you analyze key and explanations, for suppose you got 8 out of 10, means you answered 8 questions correct out of 10 questions. Now is the time for you to analyze why you have gone wrong, where you have gone wrong, and how you can overcome the same. For suppose it's a memory based question and you forgot the values, make notes. Or for suppose you have no idea pertaining to that concept, refer standard literature. That's very important. So when I say refer standard literature, it can be either textbooks, or it can be videos, or it can be discussions, or it can be even your notes, even your customized notes. Take my word. So you can use the following resources to again cross check why you have gone wrong, and then you can make notes accordingly. But I see this as an ending point for sake of closure. So no matter how many MCQs you're practicing, check your key and explanations. That you'll obviously do. I'm sure we are more interested in checking key even than explanations. So analyze key and explanations and see why and where you have gone wrong. Memory based, make notes, repeated revision. Concept, you have no idea. It's time for you to refer and get familiarized. And if you still have a doubt, we have something called as doubt clarification form, which you can utilize in order to get more clarity and then make notes accordingly. So all of this should point out towards making customized notes, which I always try to highlight almost in every session. So this is how you can actually practice multiple choice questions rather than simply mugging up key and explanations. In fact, just memorizing key serves no purpose, take my word. It serves no purpose because the exact question is not going to come in exam. Even though if it comes, it's only a minor fraction, which is negligible in this competition, you'll be wiped out. So the objective here is not to memorize key to a particular MCQ, but to analyze your performance, analyze your understanding of concepts, which is far more important than these scores. These scores do not matter. Take my word, it doesn't matter at all. It only gives an idea or regarding your status or regarding your level of preparation. So when you score 2 out of 10 doesn't mean that you give up, but it's rather an opportunity for you to analyze why you have gone wrong by referring standard literature and then making notes, which is the most important factor and crucial factor, take my word. That's going to make a huge difference, huge positive difference. So, see, you have different methodologies. You can implement your own methodology, but at the end of the day, ask yourself this question: are you learning through practicing MCQs, or is your focus only on memorizing key to that particular MCQ? Ask yourself that question, which gives you all the answers. So, see, you can frame your own methodology. This is what I would suggest based on my experience and based on my observation. And this is what I personally follow. And you know, the most important aspect here is you're getting familiarized with concepts. Even if you score low or high, it doesn't matter. You are buffering yourself from these scores because your focus is on getting the concepts right, revising. That is through making notes. And this is going to save your time, right? And enhance your confidence or elevate your confidence during crucial times such as revision. So I said 10 MCQs. Depending upon the topic, you can practice 20 MCQs, 30 MCQs, 50 MCQs, but it doesn't matter as long as you are following the right methodology. But as you keep on practicing, I would suggest the more number of MCQs, the better it is. But that doesn't or that shouldn't put any stress on you. I hope you got my point. So the number of MCQs you practice is important, but it doesn't matter if you are simply memorizing the same. It only matters when you're following the right methodology because the objective here is not to memorize key, rather to get the concepts right. So when you start with 10, it's okay, you can proceed to 20, 30, 50, 100, depending upon your time availability, depending upon the topic, depending upon the number of MCQs that are available. So if you take out a test series, you have daily tests, which means every day you'll be having 5 MCQs. Every week you'll be having 15 or 20 surprise test questions along with 120 subject questions and 20 to 30 point and shoot tests along with discussions, etc. So when you're doing this consistently, imagine how many MCQs you'll be completing by the end of this academic year, or by the time when the exam approaches. You'll be practicing thousands and thousands of MCQs. Again, I'm telling you, it's not just the number, but it's the methodology which you're following, right? I hope you got my point, and this is what I wanted to actually highlight in this specific video. If you have any questions whatsoever, of course, you can always get back through mail 24 by 7. So I hope it's clear. And if you want the exact answer to the question, like how many MCQs should I practice every day to crack entrance, you know where to find the answer, right? So love you all. Take care. Have a wonderful day ahead. I'll see you again tonight in textbook discussion. Mostly 10:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time after our study club discussion. Exactly, Vaishnavi. In fact, that's my favorite way of orienting. Even if you learn one point, for suppose you have attended a class, you watched a video, you attended a discussion, or you come to this live session, even if you learn one point, consider the objective to be fulfilled. I mean, if you have that kind of enthusiasm and orientation, you'll be in a constant phase of learning because no one knows which point might come in exam. So, anyways, it's not about guesswork, but the core point here is the take home message is even if you learn one point, who knows, that point might come in exam. So, consider the objective to be fulfilled. I mean, if you have that orientation, you'll give due importance to each and every task pertaining to preparation, and you'll orient yourself positively towards entrance preparation. And most importantly, you'll enjoy the phase, or else it will be a horrible task. I'm glad you reminded the same, Vaishnavi. Exactly. Exactly. So stay least bothered about finding or about memorizing a key to a particular MCQ, rather dig it out and try to get the concepts right and analyze your scores. And your scores should be a motivating factor. Whether it's low or high, it shouldn't matter. Whether it's low or high, low doesn't mean that you should give up. High doesn't mean that you should relax and again give up. No, that's not the case. Irrespective of your scores, if your focus is on learning, you'll obviously succeed. So not by chance, it will be by choice. So, Babu Moshai, जिंदगी बड़ी होनी चाहिए, लंबी नहीं.